All right, guys. Hello and welcome to another week. And today we are going to look at some few pairs. We will look at general overview of them for the week. So we are going to first of all, as usual, start by looking at the news events for the week. Then after that, we will take the various pairs one by one, and then we will look at them and how or what we should be expecting to happen on these various pairs in the week. So I'll just give my overview, and based on that, you can also compare it with your idea or your sentiment for the week and make your trade ideas based on that, just as we have been doing for the past weeks now. So last week, a lot of you messaged me on Telegram telling me how helpful the overlook was, that I should continue giving you guys more of that every weekend. So I'm glad you guys love it. Based on that, I'll continue giving you, and you guys requested that I also do weekly overlooks or overviews of the synthetic assets. So I'll start with that also this week. Either it will also come out by the close of today or tomorrow, and then you'll see what happened from there. So without too much talking, let's go check out what is happening on the economic calendar, and based on that, we will make our reviews for the week. So let me quickly share that. All right, so this is the high impact news for the week. So I've filtered out the news to only the high impact news. And even with respect to that, as you guys know me, I love USD pairs. So I always try to look at things concerning the USD, the effects that it will come. So as you can see, this week is starting from the 17th to 22nd. So I'm looking at from the 17th of July to the 22nd of July. So that's what we are looking at here. So tonight at 10:45 p.m. GMT, so I'm in Africa, Ghana to be specific. So I'm dealing with GMT. Okay, that is the same as UTC, Universal Time. Okay, so right now I'm looking at Sunday 10:45 p.m., which is some few minutes away from now, about 20 more minutes or so to that particular time. Okay, so based on that, we have NZD, and that is going to be their CPI news, that is their interest rate news. But as you guys know, I don't trade NZD. Okay, I don't trade USD, NZD, or any of those assets, so I'm not going to look at that. My main concern is going to be on Wednesday, where we have the card news over here. That is the interest rate news on card. Okay, so I'm going to see what is going to happen on that, because you guys know my interest in USD card is also there. Then same Wednesday around 6 a.m. I'm going to look at what is going to happen to GBP USD, okay, because of the interest news. All right, now on Friday we have news on USD, but as I said, I only look at three major news on the USD. That is the CPI, the NFP, and then the FOM. So this guy here will only cause some fake outs in the market to have any much effect on the market like that. So I'm not actually going to concentrate more on this guy. So I was basically say we don't have any serious news to affect our trades this week like that. Not all red folder news normally affect markets heavily. Okay, so you only expect some kind of fake outs on most of them. That is the thing. All right, so quickly let's go to the chart and see how the chart is also going to be affected despite the fundamentals that we have coming up. So let's go and then we dive into today's outlook. So let me go back to the charts and let's get started. All right, so first of all, as you guys know, I always like to look at the US index. As you are aware, we use the US index to determine the movement of the USD SXX pairs and the XXX USD pairs. And as a lover of USD pairs, I always have to look at that. So we are going to look at the USD XXX pairs, and then we will also look at the XX USD pairs. And as you guys know, it's not all of the USD pairs as well that I trade. I just trade few of them. As a trader, you should try as much as possible to scale down the number of assets that you trade. Otherwise, monitoring your trades becomes very difficult and you cannot focus to make the right decisions in the market. So it's part of the risk management and also psychology that you have to look at. Psychology is not only about emotions, about so many things. And if you want to know more about all these trading techniques, you can as well check out my website, and the link will be in the description of the video. So you can check it out and read more over there. And also you can contact me on Telegram if you need more tuition to be done. All right, so let's dive into the video and let's first look at the XY. Okay, let me clear the chart. Let's look at DXY. All right, so just a minute, let me clear distance of the chart. All right, so quickly, so DXY, as we know, is the US dollar hot index. Now, last week, if you guys remembered, I told you the market was somewhere here, and I told you guys that we are going to see a drop in between these two levels, this support level and this support level. So either market will just touch this level and go up, or it will come in between or even to this level and go up. So those were the two areas I was looking at. And last week, I told you guys that we had the CPI news coming up. So I'm looking at market last week, Wednesday, I'm looking at market making pullback between Tuesday, Monday, and then on Wednesday, we should see the market move up to the upside. So I was looking at this high being taken out. As you guys can see, you saw that we took out this high last week, and then we started falling after the news event. So what we are going to look at today is, I'm looking at something very interesting on DXY on the H4. Now, as you can see, this trend line here has been broken and price closed below this particular hot trend line. So I'm looking at two or the three different scenarios over here. Okay, so one, we have a left shoulder, a head. So the probability of creating another shoulder over here is very high for us to move. But in general, as we all know, let me go to the daily time frame. DXY is on an uptrend, and by that bias, I will be looking out for more buys. So it's two things I'm looking at. So if you see here, we are still going to continue with our buy because I'll be expecting price to surely pull back to test this flip level. Okay, this is why what is happening on H4 is very interesting to me, because of this particular level here that I'm expecting price to come back to retest. I think last 2 weeks I spoke about that area, but price didn't come there. So I'll be keeping a very close eye on what will happen on the XY on H4, H2, and H1. It's very critical to what will happen on the other assets in the week on daily basis. All right, so let's quickly take a close look at it on. So as I said, the bias is buy. Okay, so we are still going to buy on this asset. So let's quickly take a look at what is happening on H4. So as I said, I'm expecting price to come to this level based on what we look at on the daily time frame, that flip area, that area that was flipped, and you can see price left this area, this void over here that needs to be odd, that needs to be closed. So somewhere up to this area or totally up to this area. So that is kind of an imbalance that price have left over there. So I'm expecting price to close up that area. Okay, so what is going to happen is price will either pull back into this zone and then we will see a push down. That is the first scenario. From this area, I think on this first line, price might pull down, or price might push down to this area of what? Liquidity, to create extra liquidity, okay, that we know as the double bottom at that area, and then move up into this area over here before price pushes down. Now, if you are looking to take a trade here, note that this is not a confirmed downtrend, okay? But if we want to base our entry on trend line breakout and retest, we can take an entry here, and then we will take a very tight stop loss to prevent any form of what? Losses. But I basically normally don't even trade the DXY. I only use it as a guideline to know what will happen on the other assets that I'm trading. Okay, so that is it. That is the first scenario. Then the second scenario is that price will just push down to the neck area here, and then you'll see price push back up. So I have three different scenarios here. So I will always wait for price to perform all that it wants to do in these regions that I have located, okay, before I'll make a decision. So if price comes here and breaks below, then I know that price wants to go down. Then I'll now be looking to make a different decision on it. But for now, my bias for the week is still buy, okay, on DXY. We will see pullbacks tonight, tomorrow, and Tuesday. But from Wednesday, I expect price to begin to move in its actual direction. So that is it. So if, as you always know, if the XY is going down, it means all the USD XXS are also going down, and all the XX USD are going to push up. Okay, that is the one thing you should always put in your mind. All right, so first of all, with all this in our mind, let's start to look at each of the pairs one by one. So we are going to look at 3 XXX USD pairs, that is EURUSD, GBPUSD, and AUD/USD. Then after that, we'll look at USD JPY and USD CAD. And remember, from our fundamental, we know that USD CAD is going to be having CPI news on, CAD is going to be having CPI news on Wednesday. So this is going to be very interesting on USD CAD. So let's see, let's start with EURUSD. All right, so always, you guys know that I normally mark every week when I start the review, I always have my lines on the chart before we start. That's because I don't want to take much time explaining a lot of things so that the video will not be that long. The reason why I do this, I always look at the last high that was created and the last low that was created before we ended the week, because it gives me a lot of information about areas of liquidity in the market. And these liquidity levels are the levels where the money is. So those are the areas where the orders are that we should be looking out for to go in on the market. Now, looking at Euro USD on H4, we are still in what? In the downward move. We are still going down. As you know, the general move on DXY is an uptrend. So the general move on the XXX-USD pairs is a downtrend. So we are still on that particular trend. We are still on a downtrend. Okay, if you take your trend line, you can see we are still on what? A downtrend. Now, I will be expecting price to come somewhere here. Just a minute. So I'll be expecting price to either come above here, and then we will see a push to the downside. Okay. Now, if I'm going to take a trade, I'll be looking to take my position somewhere within this area. Okay, I'll be looking to take a trade within this area. Now, I don't make my entries on H4. I always make my entries on either H1 or N15 based on what price does the but. I use the H4 as the main point of analysis to make my entry on the H1 or M15. Okay, so within the H1 or M15, I will look out for confirmation or confluence to give me an idea that we are about to what? Reverse. Okay, the market is about to go down. Now remember that DXY is making a pullback. So as long as DXY is pulling towards the downside, we will be seeing XX USD pairs also going to the opposite side. So I'll still expect Euro USD to make some upward move, and then we might see a downward move. Now, if Euro decide to break above and continue in an uptrend, then I'm not going to trade, because my bias for the week is to continue with the sell. So if my bias change for the week, it means I'm staying away from the market until I see my bias playing out. That is me. I've been telling you guys that every time. Until I see my bias playing out, then I can now continue taking trades on Euro USD. Until that, once my bias doesn't play out, I'll look out for other opportunities on the other pairs and take them. So this is what I'm going to be doing. Now, if I'm taking this trade, this will be my first target, but I'll be expecting Euro USD to give us a move to somewhere around 0.98. Okay, I'll be expecting a move at 0.98 for Euro USD. That is where my main target to be, but I'll take a partial profit when price gets to this area if I make an entry over here. But this is my final target on what? On Euro USD. So if we break through the support level, because that is a liquidity level, so I'm expecting price by the close of this week to take out this liquidity if market does not do any sort of breakout retest and continue in the upward movement. Then I'll be expecting price to go further down to that area, depending on how market moves. As I said, there is not that much news on the USD this week. So either we'll have that and maybe price breaks below this guy, we see a retest, then we will see our final destination around 0.98. So that's my bias on Euro USD. That is my bias on Euro USD. That will be my final destination. So let's look at GBP USD. So as usual, I'm still bearish on GU. So last week I was bearish on GU, and you see how we closed the week. Okay, we came down. All right, we pushed down, the market pushed down, and then market closed. During the week, the market made a pullback as the XY was also pulling down. The market also make a pullback up. That is on GU and other XXUSD pairs. So same thing here for GU, but GU has a peculiar way of moving. So I'll be looking at GU making a move towards this area here. Okay, towards this area. That is where I'll be looking at GU to make a move towards. So I'll be expecting GU somewhere in this area, and then I'll take a sell from there. And as usual, my first take profit will be here. Then after that, I'm expecting a breakout, a retest, and then we push to the downside. Okay, so on GU, I'll be looking at 1.17 as my final target, 1.17 as my final target for GU. That's what I'll be looking at. All right, so between today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, I'm expecting GU to come here. Now, GU might decide to go extreme. That is also still within. So if GU decide to come somewhere here, I'll still look out for confirmation and I'll take myself. So my bias is still sell on GU. Why am I saying this? Because if you look here, you can see GU for some time now is still not breaking the previous high. So I expect it to continue in that manner. So I expect GU to continue respecting those areas. Okay. All right. So that is it on GU. I'm still expecting market to continue to respect those levels. All right. Now let's look at let me look at AUD before I come to the USD pair. So I think AUD, I even marked some area down here which has already been looked at, which market or price I've already entered into. So let me delete this and let's really look at that. All right. So here on USD, I'm still in my sell bias as usual. Can see price is not breaking the previous highs. So since that is happening, I'm still expecting price to continue respecting the highs and also taking out the lows. So I'll be expecting price to either make a move. So I'll be right after here. If price doesn't go too further, I'll be taking a sell on this particular trade. Okay, but I'll confirm on the lower time frame. I think I have to take that sell from in between here, from the buy to sell area here. Okay, as you can see, price tap in nicely over there. So I'll make a confirmation on my lower time frame of 15 minutes, and then based on that, I will take my sell. So I'm expecting Aussie card also to, before then, let me push this up. I'm expecting Aussie card is currently ranging in between these two levels, but I'm expecting it to break this liquidity and take this liquidity out. Last week, I was talking about this level, which you can see it wiped out before going up. So let's be looking at this area. Already, the area I'm looking at it is already there. So I will be expecting my first take profit there, and then I'll be expecting market to move down. On Aussie card, my main target is going to be on at 0.664. Okay, that'll be my final, but as usual, I'll take my partial here, partial profit at this level. All right, so that is it on Oxy USD. Oxy USD. So if you are using trading view, you can set your notification. That is what I normally do. I always set my notification at my entry points based on my further analysis on the lower time frame. This is just an overview and the sentiment I'm having for the week. It's not the final breakdown, but you can base your sentiment on this to make your entries. All right, so now let's look at the various USD. Let's start with USD JPY. So last week I told you USD JPY should push up and take out the high that we saw, and as you can see, you saw that happened perfectly well, and I expect that price should continue the pullback to this area before we should see. As I said, I'm expecting pullbacks on the USD pairs based on what is happening on the DXY. Okay, so I'm expecting price to pull back to somewhere here. Okay, so I'm still expecting more drop from the area in which we are on USD JPY. I'm still expecting more drop here, and then I'm expecting us to end the week around 140. Okay, expecting us to end the week around 140. All right, so that is my final take on USD JPY, a push down, and then we want to take this high out because we are still in an uptrend. We are still in an uptrend on this guy. We are still in an uptrend. So I'm seeing us taking out this high once more. Let's look at USD CAD. Then somebody messaged me that I should look at gold for them this week. So after this, I'll look at gold and we will now call it a day. Then later, I'll look at GU maybe later in the week into detail, maybe somewhere Tuesday or Wednesday. I'll look at GU and maybe one or two other pairs into details. I'll break them down into details. So if you are not subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button and I'll keep you updated as time goes on. So as you can see, we took out this liquidity level. We have some liquidity level over here to be taken, but our sentiment is our sentiment. We are still looking for a buy on USD CAD, and our lows are still being respected. So I expect that to continue. I'll be expecting USD CAD to come somewhere here. Okay, based on this flip level here, I'll still be expecting price to push down into this area here, and then we should see a pushback. In this case, this will be my first target, and then maybe some pullback, and then I'll take my second target here. All right, I'll take my second target over here, which from there I will lock profit on any other position to wait and see if price will range a little bit within this region before we see a breakout. Okay, before we see a breakout. If after that we see a breakout, I'll now wait for price to push back down and then I'll continue to buy. Otherwise, this will be my first target, my second target, and any other position I'll lock profit on it. Okay, so that is it on USD CAD. My sentiment is still buy. Last week it was buy, and you saw that massive move before the drop after the news. Always once there is news, after the news, we will still should be expecting some drop on that particular asset. And you can see we left a lot of imbalance and liquidity void over here, which needed to be filled. So that is what market is currently doing on USD CAD. All right, guys, so let's quickly look at gold before we call it a night. So here on gold, let's see what gold is doing. Gold is also respecting the highs. So far, it has refused to break. So we can see this high has not been taken out. This high has not been taken out. This has also not been taken out. So I expect gold to continue in that manner. I expect gold to continue respecting that. I'll be looking at, if I'll trade gold this week, I will first be looking at taking a sell on gold somewhere in this region. Okay, I'll be looking at taking sell on gold somewhere in this region. Okay, but this will be based on confirmation on the lower time frame. So I've seen some level of liquidity being left behind here. That is why I'm saying I'm expecting price to move. I'm expecting price to still push to that side, and then we will break this low. But I'm not too convinced with gold yet. Gold is doing too much ranging for some time now. I will personally like to see gold break out of either above this line or below this line to make a pure decision on which direction I want to go. But for now, I'll still be looking at a sell on gold. That is what I'll be looking at, a sell on hot gold. And until I see a sell, I'm not going to go into any trade on gold. I'll only wait for a sell to take trades on gold. So guys, that is it for this week. These are the overviews of this particular week on the various pairs that we have looked at. I'll be happy if you guys can leave comments in the comment section below telling me the pairs that you would like me to look at in our next overview. Okay, and do well to share this video with others. Like the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.